Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jake with another video. Hope you've been living life on the edge. We are here with Kon's Vlogs. I know I said I'm not a review channel in the comments on the last video, but here we are doing yet another car review, so that's awesome. Konner, tell us what you brought today.
So I brought out my dad's, not my car. I want to make that very clear. I do that in all my videos. C8 Z06. So this is a 2024 C8 Z06. Has just about 1,500 miles on it. Seawolf gray, gloss black wheels.
With the acid green calipers.
Yes, the acid green calipers to set it off. Blue interior. We'll go over all that. We'll get there. Yeah, car's absolutely been amazing so far. I've gotten the chance to drive it 5 or 6 times now. But actually, fun fact, I still have not wide open throttled the car. I've done about half throttle just to get it to downshift a little bit.
Yeah.
He, on the other hand, has driven it pretty hard, as he should. It's his car, as I mentioned. This thing's wild. It feels like no other car I've ever sat in. The torque curve is like nothing I've ever felt before. So
I'm super excited. So I have driven one of these, but it was like a very, very small 5-minute test drive.
Okay.
It wasn't anything crazy, just kind of down the road and back. So we're gonna give a quick overview of the cars right now. Obviously, as you know, 2016 GT4, which is mine personally, has 2,300 miles on it, flat 6, 2,950 pounds without fluids, I believe, and a 6-speed manual, which is amazing. Built off the Cayman platform, so it's a perfect 50-50 weight distribution. Handles great. Then you have the 2024 C8 Z06, which is arguably probably better than a Ferrari. We call it the American Ferrari, essentially.
And
right?
everything's better in America.
Yeah, everything's better than America, absolutely. So you have a flat plane crank V8, which when I was hearing you guys come into the parking lot, holy cow. I literally thought I was gonna have to change my pants right now. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and actually swap cars and kind of do a daily driving comparison. We've got, I don't think I actually know your name.
Call him BJ.
Really?
No.
I'm Brandon.
Brandon. Okay, yeah. Okay, right. So we got Brandon, Konner's dad, in the Porsche. And the first thing that I walked him through was these carbon bucket seats, when you're in them, are awesome, but getting in and out is
So good.
awful. So I was walking him through the process of how to properly get into the car.
And I have plenty of room.
Yeah.
I mean, I have plenty of room to drive this. I will drive with the seat further forward if we do any spirited driving.
Yeah. So how tall are you?
6'3".
So you're 6'3", seats all the way down, all the way back. You have a little bit of headroom up there. You've got plenty of leg room, and yeah, you're actually going to be sliding forward. So yeah, it is to some extent, like it is spacious and you do have room in here. But once you start driving, you'll kind of realize that the car just molds around you. I doubt those gloves will fit, and you don't have to wear them if you don't want.
I thought those were mandatory with the Porsche.
No. Those are XXL gloves. I just want to, I just want to state that. So, okay. All right, I've got the keys to the C8. I'm super excited. Right off the bat, I love this already. I'm loving it more. Keyless entry. I was just telling Brandon, $110,000, 86,000 brand new, and you don't have keyless entry on that damn car.
Hey, no door handles on the
It's
Z either.
wild.
It's kind of nice, man. It's
Yeah.
kind of nice.
It's wild. Yeah, and the door handles are hidden. They're, flush. Dude, that startup screen is wild.
It is. Dude, there's so many things about this car that I seriously feel like Chevy purposely was like, we're tired of people saying that like we can't make a supercar. That they were just like, you know what? We're gonna put it all in this. And then the ZR1, you guys, I'm sure you guys have heard about the ZR1. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chevy really, like, you can't really believe that this is actually a Chevy.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, no, I can't.
No,
So,
you especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big Mustang fan, that's for sure.
Hey,
All right, engine start
Guys
is in a
know.
little bit of a weird spot, I won't lie.
but the noise.
Oh my gosh, that's wild. Okay, I love it.
The noise is wild for
Yeah.
sure.
All right, first impressions, very driver orientated. Whoop.
No copyright strikes
Yeah.
here.
First impressions, very driver orientated. Like I said, I've sat in a C8 before, so this isn't like not familiar to me to some extent. I do like that everything's right here. It's within reach. It's nice. At the same time, I'm a little like, there's a little too much, little too much going on.
You should try
for me.
sitting over here. There's no room.
Yeah, no,
There's
it
no
doesn't
room,
look like
you
there's
can't
any
see
room. It is
anything,
kind of
like,
spacious. I won't lie.
If you're in the passenger seat of this car,
Yeah.
all you're doing is riding.
Just kind of looking around at first, holy blind spots. There's a
All of them.
lot of blind spots, especially looking over like your sides, you know, to check your rear quarters. There's a lot. And then of course, you do have this digital mirror because looking straight out, you might as well be looking up at the sun.
And it's good. That mirror does a good job.
It does a
Not
fairly
at
good
nighttime.
job. Yeah.
Not at the nighttime.
That's what I've heard. I have my seat up pretty high, and it's weird because the hood just vanishes.
Oh, you can't see it at all.
There's
no,
no
you
front
seriously,
end, so you don't have like any perception of depth
no.
as far as how
You don't know where the front end is. That's why the front lift in this car is an absolute must.
Yeah.
Because you seriously have no idea where that front end is sitting.
Yeah. I actually really like this square steering
It's
wheel.
nice, huh?
It's weird. It's so different, but I like that it's square. I know some people complain about the square, which I don't think is a big thing because when you're driving like really sporty and aggressive, you want 9 and 3 anyway, right?
100%.
So it's not like you're going to be up here cranking it.
No.
Like when we're doing this U-turn,
Yes.
obviously I'm going to do
Yeah,
that, but
you
it's
got
not
to.
like it's not that big of a deal.
No.
Now, if it was like the Plaid where it's missing the top part, but dude, that is the
See,
worst steering wheel to ever be
I
invented.
I couldn't do that.
The
I'm
worst
sorry.
steering wheel to ever exist in the history of mankind. Hey, and we got a C7 right next to us. Or is that no, that's a C6.
C6,
Yeah,
beautiful.
C6.
Grand Sport.
Yeah, it's not just vetting.
Just vetting. Interesting.
Yeah, that is.
He's got his New Balances on for sure.
Yeah, and the khaki shorts.
He definitely has.
That is definitely a khaki short New Balance license plate right
Oh
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the maroon, the maroon C6 as well, is just iconic.
Yeah, no, it's great.
He's definitely got a lawn chair in the back.
He's probably got one of those little feather duster brooms too.
Guaranteed.
Dude,
the California Dusters.
That hurts my soul watching people like wipe the dust off their cars with that. You're
Dude.
scratching your paint,
Yep,
man.
it's
You're
bad.
scratching your paint.
It's bad.
Give it a little. Oh my god, that sound. That is intoxicating.
It's weird, dude. I'm telling, and that's just in sport too. Like it's wild.
Yeah. So that torque curve, you're right. It's lower, then flattened out to about 3,000, and then at 4, it just like hits.
Yes. Yeah. My dad, when he drives it, he seriously tells me, he's like, it feels like it's supercharged almost. Like
Yeah.
you seriously just feel it hits once and then it stays there.
Yeah. That is wild. Okay, yeah, so now we're doing the daily driving, right, aspect of what you could expect on your way to work. I already hate the blind spots in this.
Yep.
Like, I'm looking, trying to figure out where cars are, and I've got these mirrors, and that's about it. Looking over to your left to look back behind the rear quarters, yeah, good luck. Just pray.
Oh, 100%. You got to rely on the mirrors in this thing
Yeah.
so much.
I mean, I double and triple check before I get over into any lane, but with this, I would almost just hesitate and never move.
100%.
So, this rear view mirror, it's not bad, but because it's wide angle, everything looks way closer than it is.
Yes.
Like when your dad was right behind us, he wasn't actually that close, but I thought he was going to hit us. I thought he was going to hit us.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. I don't know what the suspension is set up in.
It's
but,
in tour right now.
Dude, this is so comfy. Like even
Yes.
normal mode, like mine, I think these cars are definitely engineered and built for different practicalities and realities, right?
Mhm.
Like GT Porsche, they're designed for the track, but you can still beat the crap out of them and they're fine, right?
Yes.
Where this, like, let's be honest, I'm not trying to offend anybody here, but the reality of Corvettes is they cater to the older seniors, right? Because that's
They
their
do.
demographic.
They do.
That's their demographic, right? But this is plush. This is comfy. The air noise, like as far as how loud it is in the cabin, it's not too bad. We're only going 65 right now. This, actually under the speed limit because
Yes.
we're in the exit lane. I want to say it's a little bit louder than my Porsche actually,
Really?
which is kind of surprising.
That does surprise me quite a bit.
What were your thoughts on the GT4?
First off, I recognize everything you said about the Vet. The blind spots, especially in city driving, you have no idea what's on the sides. You have to completely trust the indicators if there's traffic there. And you're right, you have no idea how far in front. You can't even see the top of the hood.
No.
So I actually got a survey from Chevy today about the car, and it was the only complaint I had was the visibility. So that being said, I recognize and feel everything you said there.
Yeah.
I miss my manual already. That is so, the manual in that thing is so fun to drive. It's not overly easy. You have to shift it, but it's very responsive. I also like the steering. You can tell that the car weighs 700 pounds less, and it has a significantly smaller footprint on the road. It just, you turn it and it's instantaneous.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I thought those seats were going to be less comfortable than my cushy GT2 seats.
I told you, yeah.
But they are comfortable to sit in, and I think it's because, yes, they wrap you in, but they wrap around you, where the GT2 seats in the Vet, they kind of push into you still,
yeah.
At least a guy my size. So I fit very well in the car. I had to slide the seat forward a little bit, and it was very comfortable to drive. The sound is incredible. I don't know what a stock one sounds like, so I can't compare it to that, but this one sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
I loved driving it. Even through the city, you had no idea you were driving around in a $100,000 car that's built for a track or for the curves, because it behaved very well in the city.
Yeah. It's a super manageable car. It definitely is. I would definitely say, like I was telling Connor, the fact that you have so many modes for daily driving is super nice. Like the tour mode in that, it's nice, plush, and comfy. I don't have a single mode in this car. It's just a suspension setup. So it's either sport or normal, right? And so it's a little bit more rough riding than that is. And yeah, you're absolutely right. The manual in this, I would say, the Tremec that I had in my GT350, comparing it to that, is the Tremec almost in a way is like more forgiving, and it's a little bit more smooth. Where this feels very racy and it's notchy.
Yep.
And you gotta really like put it into gear and stuff. So, all right, well, I'm super excited to take the Z06 up through the canyon. Obviously in the hills of Guadalajara, Mexico. We're not going to full send it by any means, but I do want to get a feeling of this car compared to the GT4. And I'm excited to get not only your thoughts, but Connor's thought when he drives this car as well on what he's thinking. So obviously the only push all the buttons you did, and then make sure you put that sport suspension button on, and you'll feel it just drop ever so slightly, and it will hug the road. And yeah, we'll have a good time.
So we can do that as well.
Whoa, whoa! I just get shivers through my body, man. This is crazy.
So I've got a question for you.
Yes.
With the engine being behind your head, is it as loud in the Porsche, like the actual engine noise, not just the exhaust, but like the induction noises of the engine?
I think this is louder.
Okay.
Because GT4 it actually has a lot covering the engine because it's inside the car. I think for safety and fire and stuff like that.
Okay.
Where this is technically separated, right?
Yeah.
You're inside. There's no glass. There's nothing, right? So it's a lot more quiet. But when you get higher in the rev range, then it really opens up and it gets loud to some extent. But dude, not like this. This is I could do this all day.
Screams.
Oh my God, that's intoxicating.
It absolutely screams.
And this is stock. This is
bone
stock?
Yes.
I cannot believe that. There's no way. I mean, the only cars that I can, 3 off the top of my head, that sound as good as they do stock is this, the Aventador, and the LFA.
Wow. That is some high company right there. That is some really big company.
Oh my dude, I don't understand how this is NA. I don't, because
it doesn't feel like it, huh?
Lower end torque, I'm not going through the gears to find the torque. It's readily available.
Yep.
Now I'm in 3 and it's been staying in 3, so I wonder. Okay, yeah. So 4, it's taking a second to kind of slugging along. But yeah, it picks up quick.
Oh my.
Oh, yes. Yes, 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 yes. God! God! Oh my hell, dude. That's pretty hard, and yeah, it's just, the GT4 just has a bite to the brakes that gives me a lot more confidence than this does.
You're right.
I know this is braking, but I don't feel it grabbing in the brakes like it's that's the only way I can explain it. It feels electronic.
Do you think that the weight has anything to do with that?
No, I think it's just how the brake's engineered. I just
Okay,
think how it's
that makes
built
sense.
and
I mean-
whatnot. I don't think it has anything to do with the weight. Like this handles its weight very well. I mean, it's 3,600 pounds, so similar to my GT350. But I think my GT350 was 3,800 roughly, right?
Yeah.
This doesn't have a lot of body roll. It definitely feels a little bit lower. It sits higher than the Porsche, so I think that's why the Porsche hugs a little bit better. Like
Yeah.
this is, dude, this hugs the roads.
Oh, it's insane.
But-
It's
The way that the sitting and just the chassis and how low that Porsche sits just gives me a little bit more grip and confidence, I feel like.
Right.
Like this is wild, dude. This is so good.
better
And
than
that-
you would expect.
Yes.
I mean, especially you're a big Ford guy.
Yeah.
You're a big Ford guy. You guys know I have my Mach 1. I love Fords too.
Yeah.
But like this car coming from Chevy is not what I expected.
No.
Coming
This-
from a Corvette, especially when the C7 was the latest platform.
Yeah.
The C7, and that is not a bash on the C7 in
Yeah.
the slightest. I love C7s. This car is like nothing I would have ever expected to come out of an American car manufacturer.
It doesn't compare.
No.
If I had no perception of cars, but I knew how to drive them, I'd never say this is an American car.
Right.
I'd never say this is an American car.
I think it was a Ferrari.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it sounds like one.
It is a updated 458
I
engine.
mean, yeah, but like when these first came out, everyone kept calling them the American Ferrari,
Yeah.
right? Because they had the styling and the cues and all of that stuff, plus the flat 8. Dude, my biggest takeaway on this power terrain, like the engine, the torque, the delivery, the pickup. NA, naturally aspirate. It doesn't make sense.
No.
It's mind-boggling to me. I will say, I do not like the paddles. They feel so cheap.
I can see that's a
They
GM.
feel
that's
so
a
cheap.
GM classic.
Like
yeah.
these, my biggest gripe on the R8 was the paddles felt cheap, and these do too. Like I know they're carbon fiber, but like
They're a little flimsy.
feeling the click and all that,
And there's a lot of play in them.
It's not satisfying.
Like there's a long, it's a long pull.
Yeah.
Which I personally don't like.
Yeah. I like my 500s better.
I like your 500s better. And you know
Yeah.
what? I'm gonna say something right here that's really gonna trigger a lot of people. I like my Mach 1's paddles better.
Then the 500 too?
No,
Oh.
no, not the 500. I like my Mach 1 paddles better than these paddles.
Okay,
because there's not that take up.
Yeah. Yeah, and it almost feels like because of I'm sorry GM guys, but because of how poor these are, I feel like I'm getting a delay with the shifts in the transmission. I feel like the transmission could be quicker.
Yeah.
When I think of hold on, I'm gonna just let me take it in for a second.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's hard to say. I want to say they're maybe on par with the 500s, but they still feel a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Like it's not as quick of a shift. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's because of the feeling.
So
it's smooth. I think that's the thing. My 500 shifts, they're violent.
Your 500 is violent.
Yeah.
Period. That whole car is violent.
And I think because the shifts on this are so much smoother, it might be that my brain's processing it as slower.
That could be.
I think that's what it is.
Is the dual clutch out of the 500? Is it the Tremec unit?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the 8090 or whatever.
I don't know what specific Tremec it is in the 500, but I know it's a 7-speed compared to this, which is
It's an 8-speed.
8-speed.
Yes, but it's also a Tremec unit.
Yeah.
So it is a slightly different transmission made by Tremec. They make the best transmissions right behind Porsche. I'm gonna say that.
No,
right
I agree.
here.
I agree.
I'm just gonna get that out of there.
I think maybe because of the way that the gearing is on the 500, and because it's a 1 speed less, maybe that's why it's a little bit quicker. I don't know. I don't know the exact science, right? But
There's probably more shift pressure because the 500 makes a lot more torque than this.
oh yeah,
This makes high 400s.
Dude, the
pound-feet of torque. It doesn't feel like it, though.
The power to weight ratio in this, it is like perfect. I think like for corners and canyon cruising, what this car was made for, it's perfect. But on that straightaway right there, I like my GT4 because it's NA. I was lugging, like I was chasing the speed, right? It was getting there, but not as quick as my 500 would. All right, so you got my takeaways on this, obviously. So I want to know what your takeaways were with the GT4, Brandon.
Well, my first takeaway is there are way too many Americans in Mexico. They got to seal that border.
That's what
I mean, I'm down here in Guadalajara, and there's too much American traffic here. Outside of that, I'm shocked at just how planted this thing is. Zero roll, zero understeer, zero oversteer. It felt to me like I was on rails, literally. People say that all the time. I don't think I've driven a car on a canyon road that is so smooth that it literally felt like I was just on rails. No concern of oversteer, understeer, full confidence.
Yeah.
I would like to be able to have a bit more run and see how it feels putting some corners together.
Yeah.
But I'm back to the shifting. The shifting gives you so much connection to the driving as a whole. So loved it. Incredible.
All right, so we're doing an exhaust comparison. GT4 first. Yeah, that's pretty loud. What was that RPM wise?
Over 5, maybe 52 to 55.
Yeah, so we've got 2,500 more RPMs to go.
That's unreal.
Oh my gosh. So intoxicating. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, you guys couldn't see it, but it was literally blowing my shirt off. That is awesome.
I tried to record that, but I was too late.
Oh my God.
Bro! Are you kidding me? Bro! Okay, off the rip, I get exactly what you're saying. It's loud, and then once you get like, I don't know, maybe 4,500 to 5,000 RPMs, it just goes into a whole other level, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed this.
Isn't that auto rev matching awesome?
I've missed this. Okay, off the rip, dude, this thing is butter smooth.
Yeah.
So it definitely, I feel like the power band's not quite like the Z06, because the Z06, it hits you at like 3,500, and the torque curve just stays there.
This one you gotta chase.
Yes, this is like it kind of reminds me of the Mustang in a sense.
Yeah.
My
The
naturally
GT350,
aspirated one, of course, where it's like, the higher you go on the RPMs, the more you feel that torque.
Yeah.
Which has its pros and its cons.
Yeah, and like I was saying, first and second gear has a lot of low end torque, but after that, you've really got to chase the torque in each gear.
Oh my, but it's just butter smooth.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the engine likes being in the higher RPM ranges.
Yes.
Like, it's happy to be there. Oh, that's crisp. There's zero body roll.
None.
Zero body roll. I get what you're saying with the brakes too. These brakes they feel more solid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's less give once they bite. Like, they bite and they're there.
Yeah.
But I obviously I haven't got on them yet, but they don't feel extremely overly harsh.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Oh my. The steering is so connected.
Yes.
Like you were saying, it feels, I don't want to use the word stiffer. It seriously feels like the steering is connected by a solid beam of some sort to the steering.
Yeah.
There's no give, there's no play, and you're 100% right. You know exactly where the front wheels are.
I just love seeing how much fun you're having in this.
This thing is so fun, but it's not like,
it's not out of control.
and it's not boring.
Yeah.
It's not boring. A lot of cars, especially nowadays, with all the new technologies and whatnot, and all the assists and whatnot, it really is like point and shoot.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, like the Z06 is. And I'm sure this has a lot to do with this car being a manual. I'm still so engaged.
Yeah.
I mean, you're cruising this up the canyon, dude. I don't know of very many, or if any, cars are better for just flat out
Pure
you
enjoyment.
want to romp on it, enjoyment. You know what I mean? The levels of grip are insane. Dude, what?
Yeah.
There is no way this car only has 400 horsepower.
Yeah.
There's no way, dude.
385 wheel.
Brakes are there, just solid as can be. This is easy.
It's light work. Like, I know you're sort of pushing it, but not really.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't feel like it.
No, not even close. But that noise is intoxicating.
Yeah.
I love it. This might be the easiest car I've ever driven in the corners.
It's so good.
In the sense that it doesn't fight you.
Yeah.
It doesn't fight you. Now, granted, I'm used to driving front-engine, high-horsepower boats made out of America. Mustangs, Camaros, the Chevy SS, the Blackwing even, absolute units.
Yeah.
You definitely understand how having a lightweight car just changes the whole driving experience.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need that power.
Yeah.
I mean, genuinely, unless you're racing in a straight line on a drag strip, which this car is not meant for in the slightest way, it's not like I'm saying, oh, I wish this car had more horsepower.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
doesn't, because I can romp on this thing in the corner and it doesn't want to kick out the rear end. I'm not fighting the rear end, and not only that, but the weight distribution.
Yeah.
On a front engine car, when you're coming into corners, you have got to make sure that you load the front end up.
Yeah.
You've got to tap the brakes, at least, to get the front end, all the weight to that front end so the front tires are grippy.
Mm-hmm.
This thing almost feels like it's all-wheel drive in the corners.
Yeah.
Minus the understeer.
Yep.
Wow, dude. Oh, yeah. Dude.
Not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure the camera picked it up. I had the brakes work for a
Good,
second.
good. I'm glad. I knew. So as I got into
I was
him,
borderline scared for a second.
I saw his car coming up, and I was like, all right, he's coming up quick. But dude, I didn't even I never.
Once you got on the brakes, I was like, oh, we're good.
I never got them on the floor.
Yeah.
And the steering never went.
Yeah.
Like you know how in a lot of cars you hit the brakes on the
And
floor,
the
kinda
steering's all
yanks you?
over. Yeah.
Dude, I never got that.
Yeah. It's perfect for that. The final question, and of course, the elephant in the room question.
What's the elephant in the room?
Which one are you taking home?
Listen, I've got to take the Z06, but mainly the only reason is the engine.
Absolutely.
The higher horsepower, the V8, and for 90% of driving, I feel like the Z06 it's plushier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, if I was gonna go rip a canyon road like tonight, I honestly feel like I would have more fun in the GT4. I feel like that car was fully built for this type of thing.
Yeah.
Where the Z06, again, is so good in all areas that you can use it for anything and do extremely well. The GT4 is purely enjoyment.
Yeah.
It's pure driver experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Z06, again, it's dailyable. Both are dailyable for sure, but I think the Z06 is a little bit more luxurious, a little bit more plush, and sound, and in a straight line, the Z06 is where it shines.
I echo everything you just said. Brandon, how about you? How you feeling?
I love them both. They're not the same car. After switching cars back out and me taking the Z06, I recognize that I like the extra horsepower.
Yes.
But I absolutely, even in that car, and people say it's a track weapon, it is not as confident going into tight corners as the GT4 is. So if I gotta only put one in my garage, I'm sticking with the Z06 because of the all-around capability. The GT4, I would say, is an absolute funner car to drive, especially in the canyons, and the connection with the manual. It's two different cars. I'd love to have them both. That's where I'm at.
Well, that's going to do it for the video, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments down below which one you were putting in your garage. And of course, I'd love to know which one you thought sounded better. The flat plane crank V8 is a very hard sounded beat, but the flat six is also in its own category and sounds amazing. Once again, thank you all so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to live life on the edge. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.